Hello there. I want you to take a moment and think about your day so far. Did you find yourself getting breathless, climbing a simple flight of stairs? Perhaps that familiar, frustrating brain fog has settled in again, making it hard to focus. Do you ever look at the results from your annual physical numbers like a blood pressure reading over 140 or a cholesterol level over 200 and feel a knot of worry tighten in your stomach? It's a feeling I've seen on thousands of faces over the years. You go to the doctor, and more often than not, you walk out with a prescription slip in your hand, a pill to lower this, a tablet to manage that. It's a temporary fix, a patch on a leaking pipe, but rarely, if ever, do we have the fundamental conversation about why the pipe is leaking in the first place. Rarely are we given the tools to truly heal our own bodies. Well, today, I want to have that conversation with you. I want to share the real secrets to vascular health, secrets I've learned not just from medical textbooks, but from over 4 decades of sitting with patients, listening to their stories, and guiding them back to vitality. My name is Dr. Arthur Friedman. This year, I turned 90 years old. For the entirety of my career as a practicing physician, I've specialized in one area: helping patients navigate the treacherous waters of dyslipidemia, that's high cholesterol and triglycerides and hypertension. And yes, even at my age, I still go into the clinic 3 days a week to see my patients. I often see new patients arrive, some relying on a cane, others struggling to walk from the waiting room to my office. They look at me, moving about with relative ease, and they eventually ask the question, "Doctor, how do you do it? How do you have so much energy at your age?" The secret to that is what I'm here to share with you today. The most profound lesson didn't come from a medical journal. It came from watching one of my dearest friends, a man I'd known for half a century, suffer terribly with his blood pressure and cholesterol. His struggle gave me a moment of painful, crystal clear insight. So today, I'm going to teach you the vascular health management methods that I have validated over 40 years of meticulously observing my patients' diets and lifestyles. Before we begin, I'm curious, where are you watching this from? Are you sitting comfortably at home, perhaps with a cup of tea? Or are you listening on your phone during your commute? I'd love for you to leave a comment and share a little about your own story. It helps me remember that we are all in this journey together. My life's work has been defined by witnessing the pain of those with vascular disease. I have seen countless patients through their darkest hours, but the single greatest shock, the event that reshaped my entire approach to medicine, was the news of my best friend Frank's deteriorating health. After he retired, Frank was the very picture of what we're told is a healthy man. He was diligent. He bought every health supplement that was recommended, every superfood powder. He read the headlines about what was good for you and followed the advice to the letter. On the surface, he looked fantastic. But one ordinary Tuesday afternoon, he suddenly collapsed. He was rushed to the hospital, and the diagnosis was a brutal one: a severe arterial blockage due to dyslipidemia, complicated by dangerously high blood pressure. We all believed he had been doing everything right. I believed it. But the devastating truth, which I wouldn't understand until later, was that the very habits he trusted to protect his health were, in fact, the architects of his body's silent decay. The healthy routine he followed was slowly, methodically destroying his blood vessels. I immediately dove into the details of Frank's diet and lifestyle. I interviewed his wife, went through his kitchen, and looked at his daily journals. What I found was a shocking revelation. The foods commonly praised as good for you and the seemingly harmless daily habits he practiced were creating a constant state of inflammation inside his body, accelerating the aging of his arteries. Frank's story was a powerful wake-up call for me. It forced me to ask a difficult question, a question I now pose to you. Are you, too, blindly following conventional wisdom? Are you aware that some of the choices you make for your health might actually be a poison in disguise? When you picture a man in his 90s, what image comes to mind? After what happened to Frank, I made a solemn promise to myself I would dedicate the rest of my years to telling the unvarnished truth about vascular health. I intensified my research, studying the diets and habits of my dyslipidemia and hypertension patients with a new level of detail. I meticulously documented which habits wrecked their arteries and which tiny, simple changes helped lower their blood pressure and cholesterol. By observing the changes in my patients' lab results, I became convinced of a powerful truth. Small shifts in diet and lifestyle can create miracles, often far more potent than any medication I could prescribe. And today, I want to share that conviction and the proof behind it with you for anyone who is struggling right now, wondering what to eat or how to live. I hope my words can be a small beacon of light. Please take a moment to click that like button and be sure to listen until the very end. This information could change your life. Let's begin. If I told you that alongside my medical practice, I still tend my own garden, would you believe me? I find that digging in the earth, feeling the soil, is one of life's great therapies, but it's also a powerful metaphor. Just as a garden requires careful, consistent attention to flourish, so too do our bodies. Have you ever stopped to consider how profoundly the small, repetitive actions we take every single day impact our vascular health, especially when it comes to dyslipidemia and hypertension? After more than 40 years of treating thousands of patients, I've come to a fundamental conclusion. The tiny habits of our daily lives are infinitely more powerful than the pills in the medicine cabinet. Let's start by digging into the 5 habits that are silently destroying your arteries and sending your cholesterol levels soaring. The 5 culprits of dyslipidemia, high cholesterol, is the consumption of processed and fried foods. Think about the modern food landscape. It's a minefield of convenience. Most of the processed foods in our grocery stores, from microwave dinners and frozen snacks to packaged cakes and cookies, along with most fried foods you'd get from a restaurant, are made with oils that are poison for your circulatory system. These are typically oils high in omega-6 fatty acids, which have been distorted and damaged. When these oils are heated to high temperatures for frying or processing, they oxidize. This means they become rancid and create harmful compounds that act like sandpaper on the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels. This damage triggers an inflammatory response. Your body, in its attempt to heal the injury, sends cholesterol to patch up the damage. When this happens over and over, the patches grow, harden, and become the plaque that narrows your arteries. Furthermore, these damaged fats directly increase your levels of LDL, the bad cholesterol. I remember a patient of mine, Michael, a 48-year-old sales executive. He was a classic road warrior, living out of hotels, constantly under pressure to meet his quotas. His diet consisted almost entirely of fast food, takeout, and microwavable meals he could heat up in his lonely apartment. When he came to me, it was because his company's health screening had thrown up a major red flag. His LDL cholesterol level was a staggering 190 mg/dl. The healthy range is under 100. He was on a fast track to a heart attack. What's worse is that when we eat these fried, salty foods, we often wash them down with a sweet soda or a sugary juice. This combination is a double-edged sword. The sugar bomb causes a massive spike in your triglyceride levels, another type of fat in your blood, making the situation even more dangerous. It took a long time and a complete overhaul of his eating habits, but Michael was eventually able to bring his numbers back into a healthy range. The solution here is simple, though not always easy. Avoid packaged, frozen, and instant foods as much as humanly possible. Make your kitchen the heart of your home again. When you cook, choose methods like steaming, boiling, baking, or grilling instead of frying. Did you reach for a quick, processed meal for lunch today? It's a small choice, but it's one that compounds over time. R. Frequent snacking and late night eating. That late night bowl of ice cream, the handful of chips while watching TV, the sugary coffee drink that gets you through the afternoon slump, these are not just harmless habits. They are direct routes to raising your triglycerides and promoting weight gain, especially dangerous abdominal fat. Foods packed with sugar and refined carbohydrates like cookies, pastries, and white bread are converted into fat by your liver with terrifying speed. This fat is then released into your bloodstream. directly contributing to poor vascular health, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, oh, it's just a small amount. It won't hurt, but that is a dangerous illusion. A small amount of poison, taken every single day, eventually becomes a lethal dose. Let me tell you about Eleanor, a woman in her early 60s. During the day, she was the model of health. She ate salads for lunch and lean protein for dinner, but every evening, without fail, as she sat down to watch television, her willpower would crumble. It started with a couple of cookies, then a piece of chocolate, and a milky, sweet coffee. This nightly ritual was her comfort. Despite her daytime efforts, her triglyceride levels were always alarmingly high, and she couldn't understand why she couldn't lose the stubborn fat around her middle. The answer was her nightly habit. After 5 or 6 p.m., our metabolism naturally slows down. Flooding it with sugar at this time is the worst thing you can do. It's crucial to completely cut out sweet foods and refined snacks in the evening. If you feel hungry, drink a large glass of water or a warm cup of herbal tea. If the craving is truly unbearable, try having a small handful of raw, unsalted nuts, perhaps a few almonds or walnuts. It's about retraining your body and your mind to find comfort in nourishment, not in poison. Have you ever felt that gnawing sense of hunger late at night and reached for the easiest, quickest thing? That moment of choice is where the battle for your health is won or lost. San, the habit of alcohol and bar snacks. Alcohol is not just a simple beverage to be enjoyed. It is a substance that places a significant burden on your body, particularly your liver. Excessive alcohol consumption stimulates the liver to produce both cholesterol and triglycerides simultaneously. It's a factory for artery clogging fats. Now, combine that alcohol with the typical snacks that accompany it: fried chicken wings, salty nuts, greasy potato chips, cheesy nachos. You are creating a perfect storm for vascular disaster. You're consuming a massive load of calories, unhealthy fats, and sodium, all while your liver is working overtime to process the alcohol. For my patients who are on medication for cholesterol or blood pressure, drinking alcohol is like trying to put out a fire with one hand while pouring gasoline on it with the other. It negates the effect of the medication and puts an immense strain on the liver, which has to process both the alcohol and the drugs. It must be avoided. David, a man in his late 50s, had enjoyed a dinner with drinks culture since he was a young man. It was how he socialized, how he networked for his business, how he unwound at the end of the day. Even after he was diagnosed with dyslipidemia, he couldn't bring himself to give up his evening glass of wine, which often turned into 2 or 3. He was always frustrated, wondering why his numbers weren't improving despite the medication. Finally, on my strong recommendation, he decided to try a 3-month complete break from alcohol. The results were astounding. He lost 15 pounds without changing anything else. More importantly, his LDL cholesterol stabilized at a healthy 140 mgdl. He felt better than he had in decades. At social gatherings or business dinners, make a conscious choice to select a non-alcoholic beverage. If you feel self-conscious about it, a simple glass of sparkling water with a lime looks just like a cocktail. Or, if you feel pressured, you can have the bartender pour water into a whiskey glass. No one will know the difference. Is letting go of that evening drink a simple choice for you? Or does it feel like a monumental challenge? So, excessive carbohydrate intake. We live in a world built on refined carbohydrates, white rice, pasta, bread, and potatoes. When we consume these in excess, our body uses what it needs for immediate energy and then faces a problem. What to do with the rest? The answer lies in the liver, which converts the excess sugar from these carbohydrates into fat, specifically triglycerides. This fat then floods the bloodstream, raising your triglyceride and cholesterol levels for decades. The mainstream advice for high cholesterol was to eat a low-fat diet, but in many cases, what we've discovered is that a low-carbohydrate diet is far more effective for managing cholesterol. People cut out fat, but replace it with sugar and refined carbs, making the problem even worse. One of the most surprising cases I ever saw was Jessica, a slim 30-year-old office worker. She was deeply afraid of dietary fat and lived on a diet of bagels for breakfast, sandwiches on white bread for lunch, and large bowls of pasta for dinner. She considered her diet healthy. So you can imagine her shock when a routine checkup revealed an LDL cholesterol level of 250 mgdl. It was dangerously high, almost at a genetic level, yet it was caused entirely by her diet. The key is to adjust the ratio of your macronutrients. You don't need to eliminate carbohydrates, but you need to choose them wisely and control the portions. Reduce your portion of rice or pasta and fill the rest of your plate with vegetables and lean protein. Swapping white rice for a smaller portion of brown rice or quinoa is an excellent first step. If you could change just one thing about your dinner tonight, what would it be? Woo! A sedentary lifestyle. The longer you spend sitting, the more your body's metabolism slows to a crawl. This directly impacts your cholesterol. A sedentary lifestyle causes a decrease in your HDL cholesterol. Think of HDL as the garbage truck of your circulatory system. It goes around collecting excess bad cholesterol and transports it back to the liver to be disposed of. When your HDL levels are low, the garbage starts piling up in your arteries. Lack of physical activity also leads to poor blood circulation, which allows plaque and other deposits to build up more easily inside your blood vessels, worsening dyslipidemia. It's important to note, however, that overly strenuous exercise can sometimes backfire by causing inflammation. The goal is consistency at a moderate intensity that is appropriate for your fitness level. Linda, a 5-year-old woman, had lived a life almost entirely devoid of exercise. She worked at a desk. Her hobbies were reading and watching movies, and she drove everywhere. After her dyslipidemia diagnosis, she decided to make a change. She started with something simple, a brisk 30-minute walk every single day. She didn't join a gym or run a marathon. She just walked. After several months, the change in her blood work was remarkable. Her HDL cholesterol had increased from a poor 35 mgl to a healthy 50 mgl. Her garbage trucks were finally out on the road. Cleaning up her system, make a habit of walking for at least 30 minutes a day. It's one of the most powerful medicines available to us, and it's free. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. If you use public transportation, get off one stop early and walk the rest of the way. These small choices add up. What is one small thing you can do right now to be more active? The 3 silent saboteurs of blood pressure. Now, let's turn our attention to hypertension. Blood pressure is often called the silent killer because it can be dangerously high without any obvious symptoms. But just like with cholesterol, we can prevent and manage it by addressing a few key lifestyle habits. Is excessive salt intake. When you consume too much sodium, your body initiates a defense mechanism to dilute the high concentration of sodium in your bloodstream. It pulls water from your cells into your blood. This increases the total volume of blood circulating in your system. Imagine turning up the faucet connected to a garden hose. The pressure inside the hose naturally increases. At the same time, sodium can cause the small muscles in your artery walls to constrict, narrowing the vessels and driving the pressure up even further. Many people don't realize where their sodium is coming from. It's not just a salt shaker on the table. It's hidden in processed foods, canned soups, sauces, deli meats, and restaurant meals. Even products marketed as low sodium can be problematic if you consume large quantities. The most important thing is to control the total amount. Robert, a man in his 70s, was a lover of traditional comfort foods. He ate a lot of soups, stews, and cured meats. His blood pressure was consistently high, hovering around 160/100 mmHg. Even with medication, once we worked on reducing his sodium intake, his pressure began to stabilize in a much healthier range. One of the most effective strategies is far simpler than trying to eliminate salt from your cooking. It is this: when you eat soup or stew, focus on eating the solids, the meat, and vegetables, and leave half of the broth behind. The majority of the sodium is in the liquid. Do you have a habit of drinking every last drop of soup from the bowl? Or stress and lack of sleep? Stress is not just a mental or emotional state. It is a profound physiological event. When you are stressed in your body's sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response is constantly activated. This floods your body with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, which cause your heart to beat faster and your blood vessels to tighten. Over time, chronic stress leads to chronically elevated blood pressure. Lack of sleep is equally damaging. Sleep is when your body repairs itself and regulates its hormones, including those that control blood pressure. When you are sleep deprived, this delicate hormonal balance is thrown into disarray, leading to more erratic and higher blood pressure readings throughout the day. The belief that I can get by on just a few hours of sleep is an extremely dangerous delusion for someone with hypertension. Sufficient, restful sleep is non-negotiable for blood pressure management. Richard, a 60-year-old business owner, was constantly burning the midnight oil. He was proud of his work ethic, but he was always exhausted and anxious. Even on blood pressure medication, his readings were all over the place, causing him great distress. After we worked on implementing a regular sleep schedule and some simple stress management techniques, he experienced a profound stabilization of his blood pressure. Prioritizing a regular sleep pattern is more important than taking naps to catch up. Try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. This helps to regulate your body's internal clock. Sample practices like meditation, deep breathing exercises, or gentle stretching can be incredibly effective for managing stress. Do you ever experience a sudden shortness of breath or a ringing in your ears? These can be signs that your body is under immense stress and your blood pressure is spiking. Sen, excessive caffeine intake, that morning cup of coffee, the afternoon energy drink, or the sweetened iced tea can cause a temporary but significant spike in your blood pressure. For those who already have hypertension, this can be particularly risky. The instant coffee mixes are often the worst offenders as they contain not only caffeine but also large amounts of sugar and artificial creamers, which are doubly harmful to your vascular health. While the long-term effects of caffeine on chronic blood pressure are still debated, a consistent high intake can certainly contribute to keeping your pressure at an elevated level. And energy drinks, for a patient with high blood pressure, they can be lethal. The highly concentrated dose of caffeine and sugar can cause a rapid, dangerous surge in blood pressure, putting an enormous strain on the heart. These should be avoided at all costs. Susan, a woman in her 50s, was drinking more than 4 cups of coffee a day. She was diagnosed with prehypertension and was worried about having to start medication. On my advice, and she cut her coffee intake down to just 1 cup of black coffee in the morning. To her amazement, her blood pressure readings began to settle into the normal range. Limit your caffeine intake to 1, perhaps 2 cups of black coffee or tea per day. When you feel thirsty, reach for water or a caffeine-free herbal tea. That beverage you drink without a second thought, are you aware of the direct impact it could be having on your blood pressure? The 3 miracle foods to protect your vascular health. Now that we've cleared away the things that cause harm, let's talk about what to add. Let's rebuild. I want to introduce you to 3 categories of foods that act like medicine, protecting and strengthening your blood vessels. Consistently including these in your diet will be a tremendous help in improving not only your cholesterol and blood pressure, but your overall vascular health. Oily, cold water fish salmon, mackerel, sardines. These fish are packed with a type of fat called omega-3 fatty acids. These are the superstars of heart health. Omega-3 seconds have a remarkable ability to lower LDL bad cholesterol and triglycerides while simultaneously increasing HDL good cholesterol. They also act as a powerful anti-inflammatory agent, soothing the lining of your arteries and making your blood less sticky, which reduces the risk of clotting. A word of caution is needed here. Frying these beautiful fish in high-temperature oils destroys the delicate omega-3 seconds and can even create harmful trans fats. And when it comes to canned fish, look for those packed in water, not oil, and drain them well. Due to concerns about heavy metal accumulation, it's generally safer to choose smaller fish like sardines and mackerel over larger species like tuna and swordfish. The best way to consume them is to bake, grill, or steam them without adding unhealthy fats. Aim for 2 to 3 servings per week. Have you ever thought of the natural oil in a piece of salmon as a prescription for your heart? Are nuts, walnuts, almonds. Nuts like walnuts and almonds are rich in unsaturated fatty acids and dietary fiber. These components work together to reduce bad cholesterol in the bloodstream and decrease vascular inflammation. They play a crucial role in improving HDL cholesterol levels and keeping your blood vessels flexible and responsive. But you must be selective. The processed, salted, honey roasted, or candied nuts you find in snack aisles can do more harm than good by raising your blood pressure and blood sugar. Furthermore, nuts are calorie dense, so excessive consumption can lead to weight gain. The most effective way to eat them is raw and unsalted. In a portion size of about one small handful per day, they make a wonderful snack on their own, or you can sprinkle them over a salad for added texture and nutrition. Did you know that the handful of peanuts you might eat to quell a craving could actually be a key to preventing dyslipidemia? SAN. Specific plant oils, extra virgin olive oil, perilla oil, flaxseed oil. When used correctly, certain plant-based oils can be incredibly beneficial for your vascular health. Extra virgin olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fats and has powerful anti-inflammatory properties, promoting vessel flexibility. Oils like perilla and flaxseed are exceptionally high in plant-based omega-3 seconds, which are effective at lowering cholesterol levels. However, any oil, no matter how healthy, is pure fat and high in calories. Excessive use will lead to weight gain. Furthermore, these delicate oils are sensitive to light and heat, which can cause them to go rancid and become harmful. Always store them in dark glass bottles in a cool, dark place. The best way to use these oils is unheated. Use a small amount as a salad dressing, or drizzle it over cooked food right before serving. Extra virgin olive oil and perilla flaxseed oil have low smoke points and should never be used for high heat cooking, as this destroys their nutritional benefits. When you eat vegetables, how do you prepare them? The oil you choose makes all the difference. A final word from my heart to yours. To all of you watching, my cherished viewers, the network of blood vessels inside our bodies is like an intricate system of highways. If these roads become blocked, damaged, or narrowed, our entire system is thrown into jeopardy. Remembering the habits that worsen dyslipidemia and hypertension and embracing the foods that heal is the secret to keeping these vital highways clean, are strong, and open for a lifetime of travel. I urge you right now to take a look at your own dining table and honestly assess your daily habits. So many people fall into the trap of thinking, getting sick is just a part of getting old. What can I possibly change now? They accept illness as their destiny. But after more than 4 decades of watching my patients, I have learned one thing with absolute certainty. No matter how small a habit may seem, practicing it consistently can lead to miracles beyond your wildest imagination. The 5 habits we discussed, processed and fried foods, late night snacking, alcohol, excess carbs, and a sedentary life are the culprits that are making your blood vessels sick. Avoiding them is critical. And the 3 saboteurs of blood pressure, excess salt, stress, and poor sleep, and too much caffeine are constantly working to increase your risk of heart disease and stroke. Reducing the broth in your soup, finding moments of peace, and cutting back on coffee are small acts of profound self-care. And please, do not forget the miracle foods that will build you back up. The omega-3 seconds in fish, the healthy fats in nuts, and the proper use of plant oils will breathe new life into your vascular system. I know this can all seem overwhelming at first, but if changing everything at once feels too difficult, then please, just choose one thing from what I've shared today and practice it consistently. Perhaps you'll start by simply leaving the broth behind after dinner, or maybe you'll start a small habit of reading the ingredients list on packaged foods at the grocery store. This one small change will be the first step in protecting your body and reclaiming your vascular health. Your blood vessels can be reborn every day, or they can slowly sicken, all based on the choices you make. True health cannot be found by simply relying on the pills a doctor gives you. It is found when you take the time to understand your own body and begin to change your life. One small habit at a time. This is how you maintain healthy blood vessels for your entire life. I hope you will not forget the warnings I've shared today and that you will begin to make proactive choices for your own health. People often say that you have to manage your health from a young age, but in my experience, it is truly never too late. If you start making healthy choices from this moment forward, you will absolutely greet a different, better tomorrow. Even at the Helfems, I am still learning, still practicing, and still living a healthy life. You can do it too. I sincerely hope that the wisdom I've shared today will become a small light on your path to a healthier life. The ripple effect of these small changes is greater than you can fathom. If you modify your daily routine even slightly based on our conversation today, I promise that in a few months, you will feel a surprising, vibrant change in your body. I am cheering for you to experience the joy of taking back your health with your own two hands, no longer dependent on blood pressure or cholesterol medication. Every night, as I look out at the moon, I make a resolution. Today, I made healthy choices. Tomorrow, I will do it again. Even at my age, there is still so much to learn and so much to share. This resolution is the driving force that allows me, at 90 years old, to continue caring for my patients. Do you have a resolution like that? If there's a healthy habit you want to start today, please leave it in the comments below. Your small commitment can inspire others, and together, these small actions can create a massive wave of change. If you start now, what will your life look like 1 year from today? I am confident that you can live a healthier, more vibrant life. What is the one thing you will change starting today? In my next video, I'll be sharing some of my favorite breakfast menus for promoting vascular health. I'll bring you some simple but incredibly effective tips and recipes. I hope you'll look forward to it. Thank you for your time. Be well